Scorpio, take a breath with me and listen closely, because I am going to say something your mind may resist, but your spirit has been waiting to hear for a very long time. You do not have to live the rest of your life in financial fear. The long chapter of constantly worrying about money, replaying worst-case scenarios in your head, pretending you are fine while your stomach is tight with anxiety, that season is not your destiny. In this very moment, as you hear these words, a new energy is being announced over your life. God is preparing a financial blessing for you, and the way you relate to provision, to support, and to safety is about to shift in a way that goes deeper than numbers on a bank screen. You did not stumble on this message because you were bored or randomly scrolling. You were nudged here, guided here, drawn into this exact moment because something in the unseen is aligning with something inside of you, and this alignment is whispering, "It is time to stop carrying everything alone." You know this deep down. You feel it in those quiet hours when the house is dark and everyone else seems to be sleeping peacefully, while your mind is making lists of bills, obligations, debts, and invisible responsibilities no one really understands. You have survived by being the strong one, the resourceful one, the one who says, "I'll figure it out," even when you had no idea how. On the outside, people may think you are composed, calm, maybe even intimidating, but on the inside, you have carried private panic, secret exhaustion, and that heavy question, how much longer can I hold this together? God has heard that question. Heaven has not ignored a single tear you wiped away before anyone could see it. The spiritual realm is not blind to the nights you tried to pray, but could only sigh. What is unfolding now is not a vague comfort or a pretty promise. It is an energetic correction, a divine adjustment where the weight you were never meant to carry alone begins to be lifted from your nervous system, your mind, and your wallet. From the language of astrology, your sign is ruled by Pluto, the planet of deep transformation. And right now, the sky is symbolically highlighting the parts of your life that deal with money, worth, and stability. Think of it as a highlighter over the house of income and value in your chart, a sign that this is not just about survival anymore. This is about restructuring your relationship with provision at the root. The message underneath all the shifting aspects is simple. You are entering a season where heaven is more visibly involved in your material life. Divine funding does not always look like sudden lottery wins. More often, it appears as ideas that land in your spirit, opportunities that randomly show up, people who feel like answers, relief you did not expect, and timing that feels almost suspiciously perfect. Then quietly, a calm appears in your body that says, "For the first time in a long time, I am not alone in this." That calm is not laziness, it is trust. That trust is not denial. It is alignment with a source greater than your fear. For so long, Scorpio, you have equated safety with control. You learned to scan for danger, to plan 12 steps ahead, to hold backup plans in your head like swords. Maybe you grew up in a home where money was always tight, where arguments about finances soaked the walls in stress. Maybe you watched someone you love lose everything. Maybe you have tasted betrayal, loans not repaid, help promised but never given. These experiences carved grooves in your nervous system, grooves that told you, if I relax, if I trust, I will be blindsided. So you clench, you tighten, you rehearse worst-case scenarios as if you could rehearse your way out of them. But spiritual law does not bend to fear. It responds to vibration. When the mind is locked in constant worry, You are praying to scarcity with every thought, feeding it, energizing it, making it your God. The blessing that is being prepared for you now is not just a bag of money. It is a rewiring of this inner pattern, a holy invitation to stop worshipping anxiety and start partnering with grace. This is where faith moves from concept to practice. In Scripture, there is a promise that those who are weary and burdened can come to the divine and receive rest, not as a reward for perfection, but as a gift. That rest does not mean you never work or budget. It means you stop living as if the entire universe sits on your shoulders. It means you move from survival mode into supported mode. In the realm of energy and the law of attraction, this is the shift from "I must fight for every crumb" to "I am willing to be in rooms and assignments where provision flows because I am aligned, not because I am desperate." When you truly begin to live as if you are backed by something bigger than your bank balance, your decisions change. You stop saying yes to every draining job, every underpaid offer, every situation that insults your value. You start making choices that reflect a deeper belief. I'm meant to be sustained, not constantly on the edge of collapse. As this new frequency enters your field, pay attention to the subtle ways God begins preparing your financial blessing. It may begin in your body before it shows up in your wallet. A sense of peace dropping into your chest when you look at your accounts, even if the numbers have not changed yet. A soft inner knowing that says something is shifting, even while the outer facts still look tight. Then come the gentle nudges. An idea to reorganize your debts, to finally set a boundary with someone who constantly drains your resources, to apply for a position that scares you a little because it matches your true worth more than anything you have done before. You might notice repeated numbers like 727 or 1111, phrases about funding, support, or abundance showing up in strange places. These are not coincidences meant to entertain you. They are mile markers on the road of alignment, quiet confirmations that a new chapter is pushing through the soil of your life. Financial blessing, in its highest form, is never just about getting more, it is about becoming more. The Creator is not interested in turning you into a fearful millionaire. The point is not that you clutch riches with the same terrified grip you once used on your last few coins. The point is liberation. The gift you are being prepared for is the ability to breathe again, to make choices from peace instead of panic, to give without resentment, to rest without guilt. That is why your emotional healing and your money story are tied together. When you allow yourself to feel the grief of the years you struggled, to admit how tired you truly are, to cry over the unpaid work, the unseen sacrifices, the times you saved others while your own soul was starving, you are not being weak. You are emptying the cup of old pain so it can be filled with something new. God cannot pour fresh oil into a sealed, hardened container. Your tears, your honesty, your therapy, your journaling, your prayers, all of it is loosening the old shell so your life can expand. Scorpio, you are not just being blessed for yourself. You are being repositioned so you can become a channel of blessing. You have always been the one who felt other people's pain so intensely it almost hurt your body. You have known secretly, if I ever get free, I will help others. That desire was not naive. It was prophetic. The financial blessing being prepared for you is not an ego trophy. It is equipment. It will allow you to say no to situations that crush your soul. It will allow you to support causes, people, and projects that align with your spirit. It will allow you to be generous from overflow instead of depletion. This is why your integrity is being refined now. This is why your boundaries are being tested. This is why relationships that once seemed comfortable are starting to feel misaligned, especially with people who only liked you when you were struggling, small and easy to control. Wealth that arrives before you are ready can distort the spirit. So heaven, in its mercy, is strengthening your spine, clearing your vision, and teaching you to stand in your worth before the blessing lands in its fullness. In practical terms, this blessing may take many forms. It could be a promotion, a job you did not expect to receive, a raise that finally reflects what you bring to the table, a side project that explodes, a debt forgiven, a grant or support you did not know you qualified for, or a long-term shift in your work that allows you to earn in ways that feel more natural to your gifts. It may not arrive all at once. It may build like a sunrise, gradually, softly, but undeniably brighter each week. Pay attention not only to what comes in, but also to what leaves. Sometimes divine funding looks like an expense disappearing, a leaking financial pattern closing, an unhealthy habit finally losing its grip. If a subscription you never use ends, a draining connection falls away, or a door closes on an opportunity that underpaid and overworked you, do not panic. Say quietly, if this is being removed, something better is being prepared. This is the language of trust, and trust is the soil where blessing takes root. Your daily habits are now part of your spiritual practice of abundance. The way you speak to yourself when you make a financial mistake, the way you talk about money out loud, the way you react when a new bill appears, all of that sends signals to your subconscious and to the field around you. If your first reaction is always, "I can't," there's never enough. Nothing ever works out. You are rehearsing a spell of scarcity over your own life. Start gently interrupting that pattern. You do not have to lie to yourself or pretend everything is perfect. You can say, "This is hard, but I am supported. I don't see the full way yet, but a path is forming. I am learning new ways to receive. I have survived every crisis so far. I will not be abandoned now." Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you love who is frightened. That tenderness is not just self-help, it is spiritual alignment. It says to the divine, "I am willing to see myself the way you see me, capable, worthy, not a mistake, not a burden, not a lost cause." Notice also how your body responds as you practice this. Shoulders dropping, jaw unclenching, breath deepening. In that softened state, you hear guidance more clearly. You notice the idea that flickers through your mind in the shower. You catch the email about an opportunity you almost scrolled past. You feel, in your gut, when someone's offer sounds generous but smells like manipulation. This is how God guides you financially, not only through big voices, but through subtle checks and inner peace. As your nervous system calms, your intuition gets louder. As your intuition gets louder, you make fewer fear-based choices. As you make fewer fear-based choices, you create room for real blessing to land and stay. And now, Scorpio, as we approach the heart of this message, I want you to hear this as clearly as you can. You are not cursed with struggle. You are not destined to be the one who always barely gets by while others thrive. You are not a background character in other people's stories of abundance. You are a soul with a unique contract, a specific path, and a divine support system that did not disappear just because life got hard. What you are listening to right now is not a guarantee of specific outcomes, not a financial instruction manual, and not a replacement for your own wisdom, effort, or professional advice. Think of this message as a mirror held up to a possible timeline, a sacred story about what can unfold When a Scorpio heart chooses trust over terror, healing over hiding, and alignment over constant self-attack. If these words land in your chest like truth, let them strengthen you. If they do not, let them float past like clouds on a windy day, because not every narrative is meant for every soul. You remain the co-creator of your life, responsible for your choices, your actions, and your discernment. Yet if something inside you is quietly saying, "This is for me," then claim it in the simplest way you can. Maybe you whisper, "I am ready to be supported." Maybe you write down the number 777 somewhere you will see it and let it remind you that old cycles are closing. Maybe you decide that tonight, instead of going to bed in a storm of worry, you will place your hand on your heart and say, "God, I don't know how you will do it, but I am open to the financial blessing you are preparing. Guide my steps, clear my fears, show me where to go next." This is not magic thinking, it is partnership. You do your part with integrity and courage, and you allow the unseen to do its part in timing, orchestration, and favor. So let this be your turning point, Scorpio. Not a dramatic movie moment where everything changes overnight, but a quiet inner shift that says, "I am done worshipping worry. I am done assuming I am alone. I am done living as if lack is more powerful than love." From this moment forward, you walk differently. You look at your life through the lens of someone who expects to be guided, someone who trusts that if a door closes, another will open, someone who knows that their value does not rise and fall with their most recent bank statement. You take the next faithful step. The phone call, the application, the boundary, the rest day, the prayer, the honest conversation. And as you do, the blessing that has been forming behind the scenes begins to meet you halfway. God is not late. The blessing is not lost. Your financial story is not over. It is being rewritten even now, line by line, choice by choice, breath by breath. Stop worrying, Scorpio. Lift your head. The same power that carried you through every storm you thought would drown you is already arranging the resources, the people, and the opportunities that will help you walk into a kinder, safer, more supported chapter. The blessing is moving toward you. Now it is your turn to move toward it with an open heart, open hands, and a spirit finally ready to receive.